Now, that's one of the biggest problems in the scripture. And that's what leads people in their understanding of this right here. So when you're looking at the scripture, you have to be able to divide it properly. God wrote the Bible from two perspectives, friends. The first one is God's own perspective. It's an eternal view. Then you have your perspective and my perspective. It is not an eternal view. So let me read to you what's going on. God's view is always from everlasting to everlasting, unconstrained by time. Yours isn't like that. You are very limited, and I mean a smidgen of time and space. That is, it's not restrained to the earth. It's not restrained to physical creation. It's not restrained to the heavens that He created, because the Bible makes it clear that God sits above all His creation, not just above the earth, not just above the heavens. He sits above the circle of all creation. He upholds it in His hand. It's from the eternal spirit or invisible realm, which is eternal. Now, man's view, our view, my view, your view, is always constrained by time. It's also constrained by your geographical location. Because everything that happens outside of where you are right here, right now, you have to depend on somebody else to tell you whether it's true or not. And you don't even know if they're telling you the truth. So if you're not present and as an eyewitness and see it within its full context, you have no clue whether or not it's true. God isn't like that. It's from the physical or the visible realm. There is a physical invisible realm, and there's a spiritual invisible realm. The laws that govern the spirit realm is 100% different than the laws that govern the physical realm. Here's one example. In the physical realm, that is in the earth and everything that can be discoverable to man, that's called the earth in the scriptures. There's gravity. And there's nothing you can do about it. You and I cannot walk through solid matter. You and I, if we go up, we're coming down. Why? Because God set the laws of the earth. Angels, on the other hand, are not residents of the physical realm. They are residents of the spiritual realm. They're not governed by any of the laws of the physical realm. Gravity have no impact on them whatsoever. They can walk through solid matter. You can't. They can't be in multiple places at one time, but boy, they're so fast. Faster than anything that we can ever think of or dream of. And they're strong. Stronger than anything we ever know. Let me give you one example. The night that God sent Abaddon, Apollyon, who's called the Destroyer, to take out Egypt, the firstborn, he not only took out the firstborn of every Egyptian and every Egyptian servant, he took out the firstborn of every animal that was in Egypt. And he did that within a span of about 6 hours. one angel. You heard what I said. This angel had the ability to know the DNA and the history of every person that was there and every animal. And he killed them all. That's how much greater angels are than humans. And he isn't the strongest angel. Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made, that is God, the he here is God, has made everything beautiful. Look, in its time. Now, what does that remind you of? It immediately takes Kevin back to Genesis chapter 1. To the creation account. He made heaven. He made the heavens. Then he made the earth. Also, he has put what? Eternity. That is, everybody got a sense that physical death isn't the end. They may not ultimately believe it, but oh, they sense it. They're worried. They're concerned. In their hearts. How do I know that? Because God just told me that. He put it in their hearts. And you can't take it out. Except, here's the problem. No one. How many? No one. Is he limiting this? Is he limiting this to humans? Nope. No. He didn't limit it to humans. No one can find out the work that God does. Listen, from the beginning. Why not? Because they weren't there. Were the angels there from the beginning? No, they weren't there. God was there by himself. The triune God was there by himself. Have you read Proverbs chapter 8? God tells you about this time right here. Go read Proverbs chapter 8. He calls himself wisdom. From the beginning, there was no angels there. It was just the Lord. The angels came and were created after God created the heaven and the heavens. So 2 parts of the world was already created before God created one angel. And he waited until after he created the angels to create the earth. Why? So that he can have a witness that he is the creator. You and I will never witness that. God haven't created anything new since Genesis 1. You know who witnessed it though? The angels witnessed God creating what the Bible calls the earth. That is the solar systems, the universe, everything that exists in the physical realm, along with all the planets, the earth, and humanity. The angels watched God do it. That's why they worship him as creator. So God has the first witness, angels, that he is, in fact, the creator. The only way Kevin knows that he's the creator is that I read it in this book, because I haven't witnessed anything. So no one can find it out. Why? Because it takes an eternity and everlasting knowledge and wisdom to be able to find out what that work consists of. You have to be equal with God, and you're not. From beginning to end, Jesus said he knew. Why? Because Proverbs 8 says he was there. All right. Isaiah 57. For thus says the high and lofty one. Oh, I love how he talks about himself. Who inhabits what? Eternity. Do the angels inhabit eternity? No, sir. No, ma'am. Do humans inhabit eternity? No, sir. No, ma'am. God alone inhabits eternity. Whose name is holy. He's holy. I dwell in the high and holy place with him who has a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble and revive the heart of the contrite ones. Now, look at Acts 15:18. Known to God. Known to God. From when? Eternity. Before creation. What's known to God? All his works. You say, oh, so that means God looked down the tunnel of time. No, man, there's no time in God. We just came up, we just concluded that. God don't look down the tunnel of time. There's no time with God. So no, he didn't look down some tunnel. He is the tunnel. All his works. So who has determining factor on all things? Based off of what you just read right here. Do the angels get to say, I'm going to do this or that? Do humans get to say, I'm going to do this or that? Look at that right there. No one can find out the work. No angel. No man. No one. That's the God of the Bible.